Stephanie.
This is Isaac.
This is Anthony.
Today, we're going to be talking about fad diets. And do you guys want to touch on like yo-yo dieting and stuff like that too?
Yo-yo dieting. I think yo-yo dieting kind of goes with fad diets.
Yeah,
it's
I think so.
the rebounding of the fad diet.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So what did you guys find? We've decided that we were going to look up some kind of crazy fad diets.
Should we start with some just interesting, crazy ones that have happened?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk
I was
about
reading
some.
about the cigarette diet. That was kind of cool. I mean, not cool, but the
Well,
cigarette diet was promoted through the TV slogan, instead of having sweets. So anytime you had the craving to eat sweets, you just replace that with a cigarette. And voila, done.
And there you go. Instead of craving sweets, you're craving cigarettes.
So here was the result to that diet in 1929 was respiratory problems, cancer, brain damage, and then the last one is death.
Yeah.
I read yesterday or 2 days ago, it's for every cigarette you smoke, it used to be 6 minutes off your life. It's now 11 minutes off your life.
Wow.
I don't know if our just...
Is that in conjunction with sitting, probably? Because I know
Probably,
sitting is
man.
smoking.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard that too. Because an hour of sitting is what?
It's like
Did they do something like
one
that?
cigarette, yeah.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What was the craziest diet you've heard of?
Well, right here, the eat whatever you want diet. So I'm looking at it, where'd it go? Chocolate diet. Just lost it. But basically it says you can eat whatever you want, all of that food, all day, every day. So, 7-day all-you-can-eat diet. Here it is.
Whoa.
So Monday, all the fruit you can eat except for bananas. Tuesday, all the vegetables you want. You can use soy sauce and vinegar or mustard. Wednesday, all the fruit and vegetables you want.
Whoa.
Thursday, 5 bananas with 5 glasses of milk. Friday, 3 ounces of beef, chicken, or fish with fresh vegetables.
And you can have
Saturday,
as much of that stuff as you
No,
want.
you can only have 4 of those.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can only have 12 ounces of some sort of protein.
Okay.
It has to be beef, chicken, or fish.
Gotcha.
Saturday, 3 ounces of beef 4 times with vegetables. Sunday, 3 ounces of beef with fresh vegetables 4 times again. Yeah. So basically just eat vegetables and then like 3 pounds of meat.
I think that worked because nobody ate their vegetables on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So they just didn't eat.
Yeah.
So they lost some weight there.
They're doing fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fasting.
They're
So
fasting.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, some of these diets, when you look at them, so like normally we're not reading this stuff off, but I mean, there's so many fad diets out there that we had to actually compile lists of them. And I say insane because when you look at them, when you hear them out loud, when you talk about them, and when clients come to us with them, they're insane. I mean, for lack of a better way to put it. Because you look at it and you think about that 7-day all-you-can-eat diet, like you said, you're not
The
going to
diet's
get all the
insane, not our
vegetables.
clients.
Yeah, the clients aren't insane. Well,
Yeah, the diet's... Well, no, not insane.
We're just
Not
kidding.
insane.
We're just kidding.
But, I mean, you look at it, like the Master Cleanse diet is one that's on here as well, and that's just, where'd it go? It's just cayenne pepper, lemon juice, water, maple syrup, and you drink that for 5 days. Like that's all. Every time you get hungry, that's what you drink. And it doesn't make any sense because you're going to have a change in your body weight, but that's the big thing you're going to have a change in. You're going to have that weight change, and that's it. Lemonade diet. Yeah. So it's 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice, 2 ounces of maple syrup, a quarter teaspoon or more of cayenne pepper, 2 cups of water. During the diet, some people go for 10 days. You can expect diarrhea, dizziness, because you're not eating anything.
Be right back.
Salt water
Oh,
can
did your
make you
contact
actually
come out?
Contact fell out.
Okay.
can actually make you throw up. Lost Isaac, Master Cleanse. You may lose about 8 pounds over the 10 days. You may be sluggish. You may feel like passing out. You'll get rid of all the solids in your body. If you swallowed a pebble that when you were 5 years old, it'll actually come out as well. Well, there's nothing in your system. If you swallowed a pebble when you were 5 years old, it wouldn't still be in your intestines anyhow.
Absolutely not. I love that whole, those things just stay in your, they don't come out because you can't pass them. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah. And that's, when you think about that, one of my college professors put this the best. I was asking about that because I was like, so we were talking about peristalsis in your intestines. We were talking about how everything moves through. And I was like, so I gotta ask because I'm that guy. I gotta ask the obvious question sometimes just to hear the answer. And I was like, so if you eat steak, red meat, does it actually stay in your colon for 7 days? He's like, well, think about that. If you have a muscle that's doing this constantly, how is anything going to stay behind? He's like, it may take 7 days to clear out all remnants of it, but for the most part, you've broken it down, you've processed it, whatever fibers you consume are coming through and pushing it right out. So in reality, you can't keep anything in your intestines for 7 days. And the other part of that is your intestinal wall will actually seize up and start to flush if something's in your intestines that shouldn't be there. We've all been there at least once where you have a meal and you're like...
You're like, I need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to the bathroom now.
It's like, I don't know what I do, like now.
Yeah.
Like, not now.
Like, if I don't go now, I won't make it.
Yeah.
Like...
you know, like doing that, like, please get out of the way, get there, get there.
Yes,
but that's your body's way of naturally flushing. It's like it never happened. It's back.
He's back!
I'm back.
So once you go through that, and we've all been through it, that's your body's way of getting everything out. And once that happens, whatever was in there, if it was in there for 7 days, if it was in there for 7 hours, it's gone now. Like, all of it's gone. So even if you had some particles of some food you ate a week ago because it wasn't completely moved through because you have a low-fiber diet, well, it's gone now.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, no, just the...
peristalsis.
Peristalsis, how everything moves through your guts.
Got you.
When people say it lasts in your guts for 7 days.
Yeah.
It doesn't last in your gut for 7 days.
That's because I saw the lemonade diet.
Oh, no.
Is that different than the lemon detox?
No, it's the
that
same
I'm looking
thing.
at? Same thing,
Yeah.
basically? Okay.
The warnings is where we lost you. Diarrhea, dizziness, can make you puke. Yeah, I mean...
That's awful.
This was funny. Chocolate diet in 1999. 6 meals a day, including 1 substantial meal, 2 snacks, 1 chocolate meal, and 2 chocolate diet shakes. 2 cups of coffee and 2 liters of water must be consumed. Results. This is the funniest part. Chocolate cravings increase. Calorie intake is slow for physically hyperactive people. If you don't crave chocolate, the diet will not work. So those fruit like diet, chocolate is what those was basically meant for. So a lot of these fad diets are just like reaching out to people and like, buy this, spend your money on
and
this.
that's what it's doing. It's picking on someone who feels like, oh, well, I don't know how to cut these cravings, so how do I go about, dieting or eating to revolve around what it is that I want to eat or what it is I feel like I should be eating, things like that. Something that, I don't want to say preying on the weak, but I mean, that's kind of what some of these things do.
Because in a sense, when you're trying to lose weight and you're looking for all these answers, because a lot of our clients haven't just done this for 1 week, or we're the first trainer they've ever had or coach, right? We're like the 5th or 6th, or they've been trying this for 20, 30 years already, and they've only gotten fatter, right?
Yeah.
So when they're completely just lost with hope, and then they see this cool diet that allows them to eat chocolate, what? Yeah, let's do it, right?
Exactly.
And then they spend money on that diet that doesn't work and makes it worse. Or Weight Watchers, right? Weight Watchers is a very, very common one.
And that's one thing. I mean, you nailed it. Because a lot of times people have tried everything, and you can go online. You can find these diets. I mean, literally, if you typed in Fad Diets, which is kind of
That's how we got to it.
Yeah.
It came up with a list of a whole bunch of diets that you could try. There's actually, I just found one called the Morning Banana Diet, the No Bananas or Grapes Diet.
So man, there's just so many.
Yeah, and then we didn't even get to like the HCG diet.
That
things
one's
like that.
bad, man. Yeah.
But the big thing is people are grasping at straws. They want help, and we get this. I mean, people are at their wits' end. I've sat with people who've been like, I've tried everything, tried every type of diet out there, and it's not about trying the diet, but the thing with the diets that perpetuate them is someone tried it, and inevitably, I don't care who it is, somebody who tried this diet, and it worked for them, and they do it every 3 weeks, or they do it every month, or they do it every 6 months, or whatever like that, because they get the results from it, and they've seen the results, and once they've seen the results, they assume it works. But what ends up happening is, I think Isaac just mentioned a little bit, and I know Stephanie and I talked about this before, I know, can't talk now,
That's okay.
is it creates that sense of yo-yo dieting, where your system's losing a ton of weight relatively quickly, faster than it should, and then once you come off of that, you rebound, and you start eating everything in sight.
Yeah.
And it creates that yo-yo effect. That's why it's called the yo-yo diet. It comes down, and then goes back.
And the thing is that it's like, yes, you're going to lose weight on something like this, because the thing about a lot of these diets is they are usually very highly calorie deficient. And so like the one that we had talked about earlier, the werewolf diet, where it has everything to do, I've never heard of this before, the werewolf diet.
Werewolf diet.
It's interesting. Has everything to do with the moon, and so it's like lemon and water juice cleansing around the moon.
Crazy. So you're telling me the moon dictates what they eat?
Yeah, more or less is what it has sounded like.
Because the moon isn't, it's changing throughout the season, obviously.
Yeah, but it's you are fasting or consuming something based on lunar cycles.
Yeah, based on the lunar cycle. And so it's like something like that. If you think about that, you're fasting. So you're not consuming food in that time period.
Yeah.
You're doing something very different. So it's, they attribute their results to this particular diet. And it's like, oh, well, my friend went on a juice cleanse for 2 weeks and she lost 10 pounds. Well, yeah, because if you're drinking juices, you're not going to necessarily feel energy deficient because you're literally drinking sugar. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, it's the caloric intake of that is ridiculously low.
That's true.
And so, of course, you're going to lose weight because your body is in a state of shock. It's going to start shedding water weight. You're going to lose those pounds. But the thing is that immediately after, they're like, well, I stopped doing it. I have to do it again to lose those 10 pounds again because I gained 5 or 6 pounds or, 15 pounds after stopping it for a month, things like that. So people get into this cycle of yo-yo dieting of, in order for me to maintain this weight loss or whatever it is that I'm doing, I have to continue, X, Y, and Z. I have to continue versus just eating healthfully and changing your lifestyle. You actually are putting your body through much more, you're causing more harm on your body going through that high level of weight loss, low level of, weight gain, weight loss.
It's simply, and it's been proven, there's triage theory. Mm-hmm. And when you're deficient in nutrients, so if you're deficient in calories, you're going to be deficient in your micronutrients.
Exactly.
Your body prioritizes what's important and what isn't. And the stuff that isn't doesn't get any attention, right? And therefore we start with all these crazy deaths and cancers and diseases and stuff because and it's more, your body will give up long-term survival for short-term survival.
Yeah.
And that's essentially that's how it works. So cool, let's do this crazy freaking diets and then put our body in this state of insanity. Yeah. It's going to survive, but when you're 50 or when you're 60 or when you're 35 or when you're 45 and you're trying to lose weight again, those hormones that should be working or those things that should be working are no longer working.
Well, it's like when you hear, it's not as easy as it was when I was younger.
Yeah,
your metabolism is only slowing down a few percent, not huge amounts. I think it's like 5% every decade. Your metabolism.
Yeah.
So
you can prevent that with muscle.
Exactly. So
that's exactly right.
If you're 40 years old, your metabolism is only 10% lower than what it was when you were 20. But assuming you're working out and living a healthy lifestyle and getting outside, your metabolism could actually be higher. So you can see it, and you do see it with a lot of our members that are older. Like I have a guy who's 86 years old. I didn't even realize he was that old until yesterday. We were just talking about it. He's my oldest client, literally.
Wow.
And he gets up every day, and he doesn't run super fast anymore, but he goes for a run around the neighborhood. He's basically holding, I think, at like $160, and he trains 3 days a week. And his body weight doesn't fluctuate. He's literally been the entire 9 years I worked with the guy.
Wow.
106 pounds.
Awesome.
He's gotten stronger, but he's not eating for gaining muscle. He's just getting stronger. So,
that muscle.
And you think about that, that's 9 years at 160-ish pounds, and he's been hovering there the entire time. 86.
So this started when he was 75.
Yeah.
Technically, based off of everybody else's logic, he should not be doing any of that, Tony.
Correct.
You're lying to me.
I know. And he should be weaker, and he should be gaining muscle, gaining body fat, gaining muscle.
Yeah, but he's essentially doing the opposite.
Yeah. He's doing 100% the opposite.
He's maintaining 160, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is crazy.
So we're almost a decade. So when you think about that, we've been together almost a decade.
And his muscle
mass has gone up, and his body fat has stayed the same. Or gone down.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So when you think, okay, I'm 35 years old, and I've got a life now, and I got a wife and kids, or I got a husband and kids, or I got a spouse and kids, and we got all these other responsibilities. So you're 86 years old, and you're seeing changes positively. you're X years old and you're not seeing those changes, is it because we've got some metabolic damage in the past? Is it because we've done some things that can be undone? Because, and we've talked about it before, with the way your body goes through cycles, you can undo all the damage that you've done if you know what to do. But if you keep running back to these, like cabbage soup diets, you're just destroying muscle mass.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Cabbage soup
Which
diet,
one
I think,
was
is
that?
interesting.
I'm looking at it too.
Eat
That
all
one-
the fruit that you want.
You can lose 10 pounds in a week with
Yeah.
low-calorie cabbage soup over the span of 7 days.
Yep, it's a week long.
Most of the weight you lose is water weight.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then there's the calorie deficit, and you just make things worse for the long term again.
But if you think about it, yeah, like the calorie amount for like cabbage soup, because I've looked up like some of the cabbage soup recipes that they put out there, ridiculously low.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you're normally eating, just for numbers' sake, when you're normally eating a 500 calorie meal, and then now you're eating a 150 calorie meal.
Yeah.
That's why you're losing weight. That's why
Yeah.
you're seeing results. Is because you're putting yourself in such a high caloric deficit.
And it's not that cabbage is bad, it's that it's
Cabbage
just the
alone.
amount. Yeah, cabbage
Exactly.
alone, and that's all you have is bad. But cabbage with some chicken and some other veggies and spices and stuff.
Honestly,
man.
some cabbage soup can be pretty good.
Yeah. But that's not going to be the only thing you eat.
And
Yeah.
so this would actually make a great, so the ingredients are a green pepper, 1 large can of diced tomatoes, 6 stalks of celery, 1 large onion, 2 cubes of bouillon, 1 head of cabbage, V8 juice, 4 cups of water, olive oil, hot sauce. So when you think about all of that, if you were to consume all of that in one sitting, you're only looking at maybe 200 calories, and that's on the high side. And you're going to consume, and I'm trying to find out how many of these you're eating per day. I don't see it. But if you're going to, let's just say you eat that over the course of one day, it's 200 calories, you're creating a massive deficit. And I know on here somewhere it says don't exercise in this program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
like, that
Oh,
goes
it
back
says
to,
that don't exercise on the
it
program.
said it somewhere. I don't know where the heck
Well, that's good.
where I missed it.
At least they got that part right.
Yeah. Printer friend number.
It was, I remember having conversations, and this has happened with multiple clients, but it's the whole, and we do a measurement and things don't come back the way they'd like it to come back, and it's time to have a conversation. Why hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the conversations come up of, I'm just old, or I'm not as young as I used to be. And it's like, well, when you go so many years, however, and for instance, this client that I can think of, I mean, from the age of like 20-something to like almost 30 was basically eating once a day, but it was coming in the form of like a sandwich or a hot dog or some soup.
Yeah.
But you're eating once or twice a day for 10 years, it's calorie deficits, right? So your body's giving up the long-term survival, which is now where we're at,
Yeah.
for the short-term survival of living when you were in your 20s. And the fad diets that were done in her 20s and in her 30s and in her 40s. And then she saw me, and guess now we're trying to reverse the damage that's happened over the 25 years. 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, nuts. So when we think about our clients, I mean, they don't come in with just, I started gaining weight. And it started a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? They started their first diet when they were 18, and then 19, and then 20, and then 24, and then they gave up for a few years, and then they're like, all right, let's try it again. And then things get...
And that's why it's easy, because they haven't caused any damage yet. There's been no...
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that you had touched on the exercise.
With the cabbage soup.
Yeah, that if a diet is telling you you cannot exercise, run. Run very, 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 very far away.
That's
like,
true.
that is not okay. As far as, like, if you're wanting to follow, like, I've had a lot of people ask me about Whole30. And Whole30 is one of the ones that I'm not, like, horribly upset with. I think I like the fact that there are some good aspects to that in terms of trying to cut out, processed sugars, processed foods, and things like that. Is it 100% awesome, amazing, and wonderful, and I want you to do it? No, not really. But at least getting in terms of the mindset for eating better, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And so I like that. And, that kind of thing, it does not discourage you from being active. But there's a lot of things like the cabbage soup diet, and if it's discouraging you from exercising, that's telling you right there that functionality as a human being is not possible on this diet, and that's not okay.
And it's not a long-term diet. Because
Exactly.
at some point you need to walk. You
Exactly.
need to lift some weights. You need to do some Pilates or some yoga or go on a hike. but at some point we need to exercise. You're
And that's exactly right. Is that you should be able to maintain a healthy lifestyle on whatever it is that you're doing. Now, I hate the term dieting because technically no matter what you're doing, you're dieting. Your diet is literally whatever it is you're consuming at that time. So for me, I've had an apple and peanut butter this morning and a Chick-fil-A biscuit. So that is my diet for today because I was in a rush. But I mean, it's, that was my diet for today. And whatever else I'm going to eat for lunch and then dinner and so on and so forth. But I hate the term dieting. It's just like, oh, I feel like I need to diet. I just need to diet. No, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about food in that negative connotation and that negative, way. Because everybody's like, I hate dieting. Well, good, don't diet. Don't diet.
But that goes back to what we've talked about in the past, like the accountability aspect of it. If you need to go on a diet, that means you haven't accepted responsibility for what got you where you are. And that's all it takes. Okay, I understand that I'm doing something wrong. I either need to seek out help or I need to create some sort of helping support system for what I'm doing right now.
Exactly.
Because and every one of our clients, and you guys that are watching this have probably been in that situation where it's like, oh, why aren't you doing that? Well, I'm trying to watch what I eat. Well, what kind of diet are you on? Or, it's like you're the outcast, you're the pariah. Well, I've changed my thinking around food, and now it's like everyone's looking at me, everyone's judging me for not eating what they're eating.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that I don't want you to care, but it's your body.
But don't care.
Yeah. Don't care, and that's
because
true.
what they eat doesn't make you fat, and what you eat doesn't make them fat.
And it's like
I've had this conversation with that same person I was just talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're going to make a change for your life for the better, the people that are around you should be supportive.
Absolutely.
And that if you're around someone who's like, what does it matter, man? One piece of cake isn't going to kill you. But if you know that piece of cake is going to put you into a spiral downwards and make you fail, then yes, that piece of cake is going to affect your long-term goals. Absolutely. So the person that you're with should understand that. And that, even if they're not doing it with you, that the people that are around you should be a very good support system. Like for me, when I decided to make those healthy changes in my life, being like, I'm going to stop eating nonsense. Yeah. I want to stop this. The people that were in my life were like, cool, what can I do to help you? Awesome. It's like I had a great support system for me to be successful and things like that. If you need to surround yourself with people like that, that's great. Then do so. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying don't hang out with people that, discourage you, but if you know that you want to cut out alcohol.
Some of those people might be family members.
Exactly.
So you can't avoid that.
Exactly. And so it's just be mindful and just be like, explain. This is my decision. If that's something that, you don't want to do for your own life, that's okay.
Yeah.
But just please don't discourage me from making my life better.
Yeah, I don't think you should worry about if it's the family members, you can't avoid family. Yeah. You can't avoid them, but you can hurt their feelings. And if they get their feelings hurt because you're not having the piece of cake that they made, then that's egotistical on their side. That's BS. Like, you have the right to say no to any food, whether it's a vegetable or not, or a piece of cake or not.
Yeah.
But
unless you still live with your parents.
Unless you still live with your parents.
Just throwing it out there for anyone.
If you're under their roof, you eat what they say that's and everything they say.
Because I know some parents.
Sarah,
you told my kid.
Sarah, I hope you watch this. That's what I was in there. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, I got you. Because as soon as you were saying it, I was like, I know there's going to be someone who's like, my son or daughter watched this, and you said,
Yeah, that's fair. True. No, if you are living with mom and dad and they cook your food, obey mom and dad. It just saves you a lot of trouble in the long run.
I think, though, with back to the other people, they feeling what the other people feel, like they feel bad, I think it's more so you feel bad on yourself. In reality, they might say something, and even if it's not good for us, in 10 minutes, they're going to forget about it. Yeah. It's you that takes that, and it's you that has to deal with a piece of cake. Yeah. It's you that has to deal with the decision you made. They forget about whether you said yes to the cake, no to the cake, or if you cried about the cake, or if you just, it doesn't matter. In 10 minutes, they're going to forget about it because they don't care. Yeah. They don't care. They got their own food to eat in their mouth and their own conversations to talk about and their own interests to talk about.
And the biggest thing with that too is they don't care, they don't have that impact, but people also people fear change. So if you're the person who comes in and every time you come in you're like, hey, I can't wait to get to this cake, and all of a sudden you're not that person anymore, what's wrong? What's going on? Like, everything okay?
Yeah.
And they start not being able to get their head around it. So
yes.
when you go through that, we start to feel uncomfortable because we're making other people uncomfortable. And it goes back to, again, the same thing. It's not that you're making them uncomfortable, they just don't get it. And then it's like, why are you doing this? What are you doing? And a lot of times when we look at like the why questions, it becomes like an accusation almost. Well, why do you want to change? Well, I don't feel comfortable in my skin. That's why I want to change. Mm-hmm. But why? What's wrong with you?
Feels like you're being interrogated. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, screw it. I'll just eat whatever because that takes the heat off of me. And like Isaac said, you go home with what your choice was, whatever that choice was. Mm-hmm. You take that choice home with you. Yeah. They don't. So if Stephanie's over here and she had the Chick-fil-A biscuit, it doesn't impact my body in the slightest. But she had that, like.
And my body.
I literally already forgot she said that.
Yeah.
It happened 2-3 minutes ago. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, because I know
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, and I know she won't do that all the time. Because if it was being done all the time, then as friends we're going to say something. But I know that's not the case.
Especially right on camera.
But there's the support system. There's a support system of if you don't have the person to eventually tell you, hey, you're getting fat, or hey, this is going to kill you, then those aren't the people that you need to be with, or you should limit the contact with.
That is definitely. I really like that you bring that up. Is that I am one of those believers that you are not a really good friend if you can't talk to your friends about things that's going on. And so if you're genuinely concerned, because I've had friends that I've like genuinely been concerned with and been like, hey dude bro, like you're gaining some weight to the point where it's a little on the unhealthy side. Are you okay? Like, is there something going on in your life right now that, do you need help, or is it just that you've kind of just stopped caring?
I like
is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be judgmental. It's just, there's a very big stigma, especially for women, that, like, women don't like to tell women when they're gaining weight. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you look great. That dress doesn't make you look fat. I'm sorry. But if you've gained weight to the point where it's unhealthy, because, yes, body power, great, that's awesome. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, to be happy with where you are. If you're happy with whatever weight that you're at, that's great. But am I going to tell you that you're still unhealthy? Yes, I am. Reason being is because I am genuinely concerned for your health and your safety. I want you to be around. I want you to be around for me. I want to be around for you. Like, that's the kind of thing that's how I feel about that. So if you're at an unhealthy weight, whether that be far, far, far too light or far, far, far too heavy, I want to be able to tell you that, look, man, like, just be healthy. I want you to be safe. I want you to be around because I like you. Like, I don't want you to be in a bad situation. And you should never be afraid to just be able to have those conversations with people because, the media makes it so bad. It's just this very body empowering thing that it's perfectly okay to be 300 pounds, but God forbid if you're 20 pounds underweight, oh, you're anorexic, this is that, this is this. Now, is it unhealthy to be underweight? Yes. Is it unhealthy to be overweight? Yes. Mm-hmm. I feel very strongly about this. I don't want to get too crazy.
But I love it because the crucial conversation has to be made, especially if it's with our clients. Like, guys, you pay us to do this. Friends, we really care about you. Strangers, I'm not going to tell a stranger anything.
Yeah. No, if I don't know you.
And you were saying genuinely because friendship and stuff, right? But, like, it's the truth. Like, family members, I've had conversations with my own mother telling her that I want her to be able to move around with my children. Mm-hmm. And maybe even the grandchildren. Like, well, obviously my children, so her grandchildren. But even the great-grandchildren, right? Like, if she can move and not, in a sense, to be a burden to her family, like, that's huge. And God, I love it. She's walking. I love you, Mom. I don't know if you're watching this. I have no clue. Yeah. But she's walking now, so I'm so happy for that.
That's
but
good. There's
a support system that we would always push her to do it, and that wasn't the way that she needed it. And then all of a sudden we backed off, but I brought her to these classes. Yep. She heard Anthony talk. She saw the gym, and I think getting married. So I think she's getting reinvigorated with like this motivation.
This is real life. Like, I'm getting older.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think, to both of your points, like, and I use this point a lot with my clients, like, you want to do a lot for yourself, for your kids, you want to do a lot for your family, and you put yourself on the back burner, and you have to be selfish to be there, because yeah, the cake that maybe your daughter made is awesome, but that one, that's fine. If she's making it every single day, maybe you shouldn't do that, because not because you want to discourage her, but because in the long term, she's going to be happier that you were there when her daughter or her son made you a cake than if you were eating these cakes every single day and then something happens to you. When you think about it, it's more important. It's not the things that your parents got for you. It's the time that you had with them. So you think about your friends, your family. You want them to be around for their families. I mean, and it's a change in mindset, because everything that you do. I mean, I'll use Isaac's mom as the example. It's I'm doing these things, and she probably heard Isaac say it 1,000 times. And this is literally when you deal with family, and my mom knows this, and she's probably watching too. When you say it, you know nothing. Like, it doesn't matter how much you know, but you just told your parents, you know
You're my
nothing.
son that never cleaned his room. I'm not listening to you.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't clean your room. How do I know that the information you're giving is factual?
I love it.
This guy over here, who I don't know, just said the exact same thing, and he's a genius.
Yep.
And it's like
Yes.
the exact,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
and that's all it takes. But it's putting yourself out there in a way that is awkward, because when you tell somebody, hey, and I've had this conversation with a client recently, and you have to put yourself first to be who your friends and family want you to be. Because if you're not happy with you, they see it. They may not see the why, but they're gonna be like, every time this person's around, they're kind of down, or like, I can feel like it's just not genuine, or whatever else. And then you create more stress in your body, and you're like, you're just stressed out, and you're strung out, and you're not doing the things that are important to you because you're trying to please everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality, pleasing yourself helps you take care of everybody else.
And that's true.
I've had that conversation so many times. If you're not running, you're not gonna get to help your kid. You're gonna help your significant other.
The biggest thing is, like, I have that conversation with my dad, because my dad I got my, no offense, Dad, but I got my
Apparently,
sugar
if you're one of our
cravings.
parents, you should have just cut this off. Like,
Yeah.
Yikes.
You should
got
stop
grilled.
watching,
Yeah.
20 minutes ago.
Sorry,
we
Mom.
love you guys.
I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom. And it's like, my mom has been a very big encourager for being healthy.
I see you this weekend. Oh my gosh. Good thing this isn't until
Yeah,
next
this
week.
is where
Oh,
we're
good.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be safe.
Oh, yay!
Ah, good.
But it's like, my mom has always been a very good a big encourager for being healthy. Like, because she started to change her life before I started to change mine, in terms of, like, cutting out a lot of processed sugars and
That's
things
awesome.
like that. And so she was always, like, talking about, oh, I read this article that was this, and this. And so it was very, like, she was learning information, and, like, same thing as everybody does, is some information's good, some information's not.
Yeah.
And her interest, I mean, I've always been interested, but it was always kind of one of those things that it was like, I'm young, so what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
And so I changed that mindset. I don't remember exactly what I got out of a relationship is really pretty much where that ended up starting. I was like, F this.
That's how most.
And-
That's usually how it works. That's
Got out
usually
of a
how it
really long
works. It's
relationship,
crazy.
and then it, like, kind of everything was like, okay, I'm really going to make a change. And so I would start to listen to what my mom is saying, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And so I started doing research, and I started looking into this. I'm like, dude, trying to find information sucks.
Yep.
And so it's like, and that's when I started to change my life and everything like that. But I was really big into consuming lots of high processed sugars and things like that, because my dad likes that stuff. He loves cakes, he loves pies, he loves cookies, he loves, sodas and things like that. That's what my dad likes. It's, makes him happy at the end of the day. And so that's the kind of stuff that I would consume. And I started cutting all of that stuff out, doing all this, and it's all the research that I've done is how sugar is way more highly linked to, heart disease and issues like that, and, disease risk than, fats and stuff like that, what we previously thought.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of stuff that I try to teach to my dad. But it's like, how you said, it's like I've been so aggressive with it
Yeah.
that it's like, because I'm like, I want you to be here. I'm worried about you. I want you to be here. Is that, I don't.
I didn't. It's not that I gave up on it.
Yeah.
I just gave up on it. Like, it was weird. It was like, come on, Mom. And I had that conversation, and when I had that conversation, I'm like, boom, that's it. Like, you know how I feel. You do what you please with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would still invite her out to the things like I always did, and it just started happening.
Yeah.
And I heard my dad tell me, hey, your mom's been walking for 2 weeks now. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything, because I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to. And I'm like, there's been another 2 weeks now. And I'm like, oh. That's a month. Like it's a habit. So like it's like, okay, let's take it to the next level. Let's get you set up with coaching with Tony.
Since you listen to him.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome because, I mean, those are the kind of things that I think are important is that, yes, you want to show your loved ones that you appreciate them, but I think that we shouldn't be going about it, especially friends and family and things like that too. You don't have to be a jerk about it. But at the same time, I mean, expressing that concern I think is important, and not being afraid to express your concern for somebody's well-being, I think is incredibly important.
Yeah. Or guilt tripping somebody into having something that is against their well-being.
Exactly. Just because you feel bad about yourself because you ate it does not mean that you should make somebody feel bad about it.
Or just because they're trying to change their life and you just... And some people probably just say the whole, it ain't going to kill you, autopilot mode, where they just say it and they don't mean it. But to the person who's receiving that, yeah, you're right, it's not going to kill me. Because I've had it before and I didn't die. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and eat it. You know, just in this awkward conversation. Yeah. And let's just get it over with.
Damn, we went like super off topic.
Yeah.
Well, not that, no. So I think right now we should be like, and all that is because of fad diets.
But you know,
it is.
It is. Because it goes back to it. And when you think about changing lifestyle, people hear like the diet type. And I remember my grandpa was on Weight Watchers, and I remember I went home from college for something. One of my uncles was doing the cabbage diet, so I had heard all these things. So the reason why the fad diets survive is because when you tell somebody you're doing one of those, they're almost accepting of it. If you tell somebody I'm watching my carb intake, or I'm watching my protein intake, or I'm watching my sugar intake, the concept is so foreign because it's
so right.
Even though the chocolate diet or the master cleanse, the lemon juice diet, or whatever, the HCG diet, you're doing all those things, but because it doesn't have that same name that people identify with, it doesn't stick. So when you're like, hey, I'm doing Weight Watchers. Oh, okay, cool, we got you. Hey, no, I'm just keeping my processed foods low. Processed foods, that sounds so like...
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that? It sounds so restrictive. I could never do that. And it's you were willing to do that for 7 days to see that quick fix. But now if you were to extrapolate it out over the course of years, you'll have a higher quality of life, you'll feel better, all because you made habit changes and you got rid of the processed stuff. But it doesn't, it's a foreign entity. Yeah. So the same as if you said, hey, I'm going to drive to work in my automobile. Well, why are you going to take your automobile? Like, it's my car, but I called it an automobile, and it's like, well,
that's a weird term.
Why would you?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, just say car. I thought you were like, I thought that was a New York thing.
This was a perfect example.
I thought you were being in New York and being like, I thought maybe they call it like pop. Like, I thought y'all were calling automobiles cars or cars. Just like, I did.
Isaac is sitting here being like, we literally just saw it happen.
That's what you exactly mean by it.
Literally just saw it happen in real life.
100%
That is awesome.
real, not played, just happened. Yup, and that's the truth.
Can't make this stuff up.
Because it just shows where the mindset is at in the sense of, I don't want to do that to my life and my diet, and you're doing it. I don't even know how that. How do you even get to that step? And as far as the fad diets, it's like, oh, that's over in a week. Cool, you're gonna be back to me in a week.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the psychology, emotional thing of, oh, that's not gonna kill you because they know it's your 50th fad diet.
Yeah.
It's not worked. So why is this one gonna work? Yeah, it's kind of, there's that emotional thing, and then you know that this is your 15th, 20th, 30th time trying, and it's not working. And they're telling you to go ahead and have a piece of cake. You're like, fuck it, I'll have a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that's usually how it goes, unfortunately. I mean, so pretty much like the...
Summary? Are we at summary?
The summary?
Yeah. Summary.
Is, I mean, it's just yo-yo dieting, fad dieting. I mean, that kind of stuff can just lead to long-term effects in terms of affecting your metabolism and how well you're going to be able to achieve longevity and achieve, success in your goals for the long run. I mean, you can sustain healthy living. You can't sustain not eating.
Yeah.
And then there's what those things do to your relationships with the people and everybody around you, your environment. It's just not healthy.
Yeah. And that's, when you think about healthy eating, you can do that. We've talked about it before. You can do it anywhere. You can go into any restaurant and eat appropriately. If you're on any of these diets, I gotta stay home, I can't get what I need, or you're the awkward person at the table just watching everyone eat. Instead of being able to go, oh, hey, these things are on the menu that fit into my lifestyle, so I can do this. Or, I can modify how my day looks so that these things fit into my lifestyle versus just being the odd person out. Just,
well, I can't eat that because I'm on a diet.
Yeah, I'll have the salad because I can have salad.
And then you're having a terrible time.
Yeah.
You're not happy.
Miserable.
You're miserable. So the next time they say, just have the cake. Last time you were miserable. You'd be like, I was
miserable. I went home and I felt terrible.
And then you have the cake, the cookies, the imbalanced meal, and alcohol.
Yeah. And the emotional connection. Because you feel good, and we want to feel good. So if we feel good, we're more apt to do those things that make us feel good.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to touch on that. I was just going to say that the thing is that food should never be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Your life should never be miserable because of food.
Yeah.
Never. That is not the case. Like this morning, like I said, I had a Chick-fil-A biscuit. I'm a little miserable now. My body definitely did not appreciate that. I kind of was like, okay, yeah, that was a bad idea. But in the long run, it's like, it still made me happy because I had food. Mm-hmm. I was able to not be starving, all of that stuff, Yeah, my body didn't enjoy it, but I was aware. Like I said, I've said before, be aware of if you're going to eat something that you typically wouldn't, be aware of how that's going to affect your body. And I didn't think that through fully, and now my body is very upset. But,
That's true.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I know how that's going to affect me, Okay, just don't do that again forever, don't do that again. But, I mean, you need to be aware. You shouldn't be miserable because of food, in terms of just, I can't do that. I can't do that, guys. It's nice when you can go out to eat and just change something that's on that plate a little bit to fit, being healthier.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier. And then you're there and you're getting the emotional connection of being with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your significant other, your family, your dog. You never know.
Yeah.
I love to take my dogs out to eat.
I don't have the option. Mine sits at the table.
Oh, he sits at the table.
She does. She loves it there. She helps it there.
My cat
It's the
sits
most
there.
obnoxious thing ever. Yeah.
My cat sits on the table. We can't knock her down.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'll put a picture at the end of this.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She just
Awesome.
sits at the table. It's weird.
No, Sphinx will sit there and she'll watch you, and I'm like, I know what you're doing, ma'am.
Yeah.
And she'll inch, and then she'll lay down. She's like really cute. Then she'll inch, and then she'll reach. And I'm like, stop it!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she won't look at you either. Yeah, she'll just be like, and I'm like, I can see you.
If you can't see me, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not here.
Sweet. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Until next time, this
Absolutely.
is Isaac.
This is Anthony.
Stephanie, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Thanks for checking us out. If you like this, go ahead, like it, share it, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.